Today I had the opportunity to sit down with two very talented creators for the first ever podcast, which is still currently unnamed. These two creators, Nolan Begley and Christopher Jacovou, also happen to be two of my really good friends. Together they run a company called By the Lake Visuals, which is a digital media marketing company in Toronto. In the episode, we talk about the hardships of creating and why you should never take your work too seriously. The guys also lend some advice on how they deal with self-doubt. I hope you enjoy the first episode of this soon-to-be titled podcast. Enjoy.
Chris and I were thinking back at how long we know each other, and even though we met in high school, it's been a decade now since we've been friends with just him alone. So that makes you and I have been friends for like 18 years or something like that.
Good friends are hard to come by.
Honestly, it's
Straight
like my parents always told me that like your best friends you're gonna meet are not in high school, and I was like, you guys don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. They're all gonna be my best friends, and then you realize really quickly people just grow up and you move on, you outgrow each other, and you move away. And like once we moved to the city, like I barely talk to any of the guys now, unfortunately. True. But like it would be the same thing if I got to see them.
Yeah, I feel like we're very fortunate in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right, so let's start with just who you are. So Chris, who are you?
Well, me, Nolan, doing social media for the craft, photography, graphic designing, but I would say the main goal for myself would be songwriting, audio engineering, audio production, just scoring videos, anything that I can do. Any audio that I can do and stay creative, basically. Open to anything.
Right on. You guys have a business together.
Yes.
So how do you fall into that, Nolan? What's your intro?
Well, I don't know. And not that I'm against labels, but since I kind of like to do a bit of everything, I just class myself as a creative instead. I've played music my entire life, and then the camera kind of became my tool of my weapon in my arsenal, where it just took over everything from making skate videos when we were young, and then investing into my first DSLR to just shoot whatever I wanted growing up. And then it just there in the between, a hobby became something that I want to turn to a professional career. And now with Chris and I, we run we label ourselves as like By the Lake Visuals, and that refers to being Pickering. Pickering being basically a town that's on the lake, or at least by the lake, if you will. So yeah, we do digital media marketing. We do social media consultants as well. All the 9 yards for that. We take the photos, we make the videos for them. And then on top of that, I freelance on the side, and I do a lot of work with you too. You and I have always had Furthest Journey Media for years now, and we are always trying to pop up projects every week, anytime we can. But yeah, we're creatives. That's what we are. We're creatives.
Straight. These are facts. So I would encourage you to jump on Instagram and look up By the Lake Visuals. Is that correct?
That's it.
Visuals.
By the Lake Visuals. Now that you know who these guys are, let's jump into the show. I have a few quick questions for you guys. You can take them one at a time. We'll go Chris first, you second, and I'll hit another one. So first off, what recent movie or book has influenced you? Or whoever's got an answer first can go. Book or movie?
People read?
Yeah, people still read. Audiobooks, man.
I'm trying to think, because I find inspiration in a different way. It's not necessarily like a movie. Like it could even be like a music video or like a short film that is like even J. Cole's music video that just came out.
So what visuals have you seen lately?
I don't even know how to describe it. Like, how would you describe the visual that I showed you?
Oh man, if you ever just check it out, first of all, it's really
honestly,
cool.
Take a look at it.
It has like this very retro vibe to it. The style of filmmaking, but
it's like an Outcast almost.
Yeah, it's almost like an Outcast vibe, but then a lot of special effects and VFX work done into it for it to be this trippy but yet you can tell it's very cathartic piece of project for Cole, where he could really express things, where like cinema now is just, it's not limited to Hollywood. People have this technology at their hands.
No, exactly. Yeah, music videos are like, there's legit like actors that are in music videos now, because like
Yeah.
there's so like the high budget, and like it's just
It's
like
an industry itself now, just music
like
videos.
our like pop culture's like music is very influenced by it. So like the videos itself are insane now.
That's a J. Cole's new album, right?
Yeah.
KOD. Give it
Yeah.
a check.
Yeah, I've listened to the album. I didn't know there was videos though, so
Yeah,
that's cool.
like watching the music video, honestly, it was great. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
So that's yours. What's yours, Nolan? No books, obviously, by your response.
I just finished reading a book called All the Light We Cannot See. It took me honestly 2.5 years to finish it, because it's such a daunting size. I know it's like a lot of people read like 1,000-page books, but this was like 600 and something, and to me that was a lot, because I don't have the attention span sometimes. But
Same.
it was very captivating. You know, like I'm really into war films and just World War II, World War One history, and this one was kind of, it inspired me a bit, enough for me to feel a sense of narrative that has really inspired me and wanted me to create more narrative myself. But honestly, like where I've been driving visual inspiration from is actually commercials, not necessarily any cinema right now at the moment, because commercials, just like music videos, there's such large budgets for them as well. And the one that really got to me was that the Apple commercial with FKA Twigs, where she was dancing in her apartment.
Oh yeah. Where it was moving.
Yeah, where the apartment was moving. Like Spike Jonze, man, what a legend! That guy he is something else. He's 100% probably my favorite director, and then Denis Villeneuve is right up there too. But yeah, that commercial was fantastic, and it's insane that you can tell so many stories not just through words now. You know, just you could tell it through by movement, by interaction, by touch, by everything. It's just it's so much beyond, it's so far beyond just the talkies now, where it could be a story could literally be told by one shot of a camera angle where it never moves, or just the way the person can interact with the camera itself. It's insane. So yeah, that commercial honestly inspired me, and I actually hope to make some dance films this summer, because man, dance films, man. Dance films have always been so cool.
So much respect for him.
Yeah, shout out Spike Jonze, big man.
We already kind of covered this, but my next thing is just an album or an artist that you guys have had on repeat. Just
like
recently.
Recent or
just recent. Something that's caught your attention.
I honestly just re-listened to like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, just because Nice for What, obviously the sample was one of the songs.
Yeah.
So I just like started re-listening to it the other day, and like, I don't know, I've had that on repeat for literally years now. So
when did that album come out? Like
1994. Like, literally the year we were born.
Has he sampled stuff from that album?
He
before?
sampled Draft Day was a sample as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just sampled Nice for What. That was X Factor. X Factor was the song, yeah.
Right on. I didn't know. Not really familiar with that album.
Yeah,
That's sick,
like literally, like the minute I heard it, I was like, yeah, I was like, that's Lauryn Hill.
Yep.
Got hyped up. Cause like remember the one instrumental I made a while ago with like people talking in the back?
Yeah.
That was a Lauryn Hill sample. That was from that album as well.
So killer. What about you, big man?
Big man. Honestly, just different vibes. Like for one side, like on the side, I'm a boxing instructor, and so like I need music to have this kind of, not even just amped. It needs to have a groove, because boxing's about rhythm, man. It's like dancing, just in a martial arts form. So like I've been listening to a lot of Kaytranada lately, because he has like that old school.
Oh yeah.
He has like that deep house but funk to it, and all those cats that are with the same kind of group, like the Internet, so the Kid, those guys, they even Childish too. They all have that underground soul folk vibe, funk vibe.
Yeah, the production's so simple, but it's just like
but it's like not at all.
It's not. It's like that kind of production is a lot more complicated than just loud noises together.
Yeah, but then like there's nights too where like I'm trying to get in the feels, or like I have like some sort of film idea in my head, and like I can't, for some reason, like I can't listen to really happy music for me to create something. I need something that's going to get me stuck in the feels and get me in a mind space where I need to have some sort of emotional cathartic release.
Yeah.
So what I do is like Bon Iver has always been like my go-to. He's always been up there. The whole band has been up there for me when I'm trying to get stimulated creatively.
It's crazy how like an artist, like you can, like if I listen to a certain artist that is during a certain emotion and I'm not feeling that emotion, I won't want to listen to that artist. I'll be like, nah, like I'm not feeling this guy. But like if I'm in that mood and like I listen to music, I'm just like, yeah. Like,
you can listen to it on repeat.
Yeah, on repeat or like, yeah. Like the other day I was doing that exact same thing. It's crazy.
Basically yes or no answers. What do you feel about pineapple on pizza? What's your stance?
No,
Super
God,
down for
no.
Really?
Oh, we gotta yes and it though.
Honestly, I've had it a couple times.
You are a
It's great.
sick human being.
Nah, it's
Like
good. It's a nice
pineapple
little
on
snack.
Okay.
Just, like,
Kidding me?
get your fruits and veggies, you know?
Are either of you flat earthers?
What?
Flat earthers.
Flat earthers? Fuck that. No way.
No.
No. There's too much proof to.
I'm not smart enough to back it up, too. so I was just like...
I think you're not smart. I think you're too lazy to look up the facts of flat earth.
So you think we went to the moon?
I don't know.
I don't know
I
about
see a
that.
good little gray area.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about
All
that.
right, we'll let that slide. Now that that's over with, and I feel like the listeners, all maybe one or two of them, will know.
Hey, man. My parents count us 2 right there. So like, we're at least looking at 4.
Now people know kind of what your background is, who you are, and what your kind of personality stance is. You guys are both creatives. We're all creatives that grew up together in a small city. We all at one point did live in Toronto. You guys obviously still live there. And they also live together and run a business together.
Roomies.
Yeah. How do you think moving from a small city or town, I guess, is Pickering? Was Pickering a city
It's
or
a city.
town?
It's a city.
It was a town for a little, but it's a city now.
We got
So-
92,000 now.
We got a pickle barrel.
How
and
do you
stuff like that.
how do you think that influenced your creative drive, or did it influence your creative drive moving to the city?
I would say prior to moving to the city, I had the drive, but like I didn't think it was possible. Like I did the same thing that I do now, but like it was just like more of a dream. And then you move to Toronto, and then you're just like, wow, like this, like you could actually do something if like you put the work in and you put the effort in. So
Different atmosphere.
I would say a different atmosphere definitely changed me and made me write about different things or like just make different music and like think outside the box. So
True. It puts
It's a
you
change.
outside of your comfort zone from
Exactly.
living and knowing, I know these street corners, I know these roads, I know my day to day, and it kind of just messes up your whole day to day. Have you met any influential people or had any experiences that have drastically changed your point of view?
I think I've met a couple people that have influenced like ways that I do things now. So like I feel like I don't know, like even with like writing music, I feel like before I would just write about one subject. Now I'm like more open-minded because I've heard more things, and like by living in the city now, like you learn and you hear other people's opinions on different things. So like maybe like something that you would write about before you don't necessarily agree with anymore. So like I found that different experiences with different people, it's made me think differently, and it's made me, I guess, write and make things differently, and then just adjusting to my own style kind of thing.
True.
That's what I would say is the biggest thing for me.
For sure.
How about you?
Well, let's get this straight. This is to all the listeners. I was like pretty content living in our hometown, right? Spencer comes back from Vancouver and he says, "Yeah, I'm over our small town. Let's get out of here. Nolan, you want to come with?" And I was like, "All right, sure." So I kind of was just in a limbo, and we just moved to the city on the whim, and adjusting right away, man. That was tough. That was a totally different lifestyle. I'd never lived on my own. I was basically living paycheck to paycheck at a point, and then when we moved out of our place, I was stuck, and I needed to find a place immediately. And at the point, I was like, it was either I kept paying rent, or I just didn't eat. You know, it was always like food or rent, and you know, it was a big balance. And in that time, that struggle of like my parents always told me that I'm going to struggle sometime in my life, and I was
20s in your 20s.
Yeah.
and I always thought like, man, like I don't know, man. This is a good life. I'm living in Toronto. I'm meeting all these people, but a lot of these people that I met, they had a lot of just empty promises. Like people always say they'll give you gigs, or like if you do this video or to take this photo for free, like the right people are going to be looking at it, and this is really good exposure for you, and it's going to really push you in the future. And honestly, it did at some points pay off, but a lot of times everything would fall through, and that's why I just I couldn't afford it anymore. Like I was struggling severely, and I didn't know it was taking a toll on my mental health, and I never had a clear mind space, and like my creativity was compromised at that time because like I didn't have any drive in me. My health was being compromised at the same time, and it was it was just hard to function until like I started forcing myself and stopped being so precious with my creations. Like I kept on saying like, okay, like I'm gonna only make a video here, and like this is gonna be the one that makes me better, or this is the one that someone's gonna see, or this photo that I shot for this person is gonna be the one that brings me to all these connections. But then I realized that like that was it just wasn't enough. I needed to keep creating and keep moving and keep grinding and keep making stuff, keep creating, and that was the only way for me to cope with the struggle that I was having with. And it just took me a few months for me to realize like, okay, I need to get back to my roots, and that root is having my camera and shooting something. So that jump from moving to the hometown to the city was definitely something that was hard to adapt to, but now we're doing it. That's the thing. Like we don't know what we're doing half the time, but like we're doing it. We're
Everyone
just
has
trying
like the roots are planted, but like on the way you kind of lose it. But it's great when you figure it out. Like now, you know what I mean? Like when it comes around and like you actually figure it out, and you can get back to your roots and actually continue on what you're doing
and like appreciate the journey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you might have lost it for a bit, but you go back and like you still pick up where you started.
The thing that I found the most when I moved to the city, it was very exciting, and it was such an overwhelming experience, and everything is so new, and there's so many people to meet, and everyone's doing dope shit. Yeah. That was my thing. And I was like, sick, now I get to make dope shit. And that realization of like, sure, the first couple months to a year, you have that drive of like, I just moved to the city, I'm making all this cool stuff. And then slowly I started focusing less on myself and more on, well, these people are still making dope shit.
Yeah.
And it's so much cooler, and there's so many people making dope shit, until the point where I couldn't focus on myself, and all I was doing was scrolling mindlessly through Instagram or like meeting people that are already doing stuff. And that was kind of like a point of reflection that I was like, I'm nowhere where I need to be right now. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sucks making that realization into you can't really focus on what other people are doing. To a certain extent, you totally can.
Yeah, you get to draw inspiration for some people, but
it's just hard to go like constantly like that. And I feel like Instagram is like the number one source of exactly things like that.
Oh yeah, I had to like, there was a point where I had to like stop following some like photographers that I really liked, because like I kept on putting myself down. I'm just like, man, like my stuff isn't looking like this. Like my shit's not getting this many likes. Like this shit's not popping for me. I need to be more like them. And then every time that I would try and be like them, I would be even more mad at myself, because I was not copycatting, but it wasn't my vision. Yeah, still recording. Cool. But yeah, you just have to unfollow people, and like that was, you honestly, you think that's like very minimal, but like that's a huge thing to like actually start disconnecting yourself from some of these people that influence you. Like it's insane how much of an effect it has.
Yeah, because you start to like, not like, and it's not even like it's like a self-conscious thing where you just take the idea because you like it, and like, you don't realize that you're actually doing the same thing. You're like, oh, and then you're losing like the authenticity of what you're actually trying to do.
It's that idea of like taking your own time back, instead of like just waking up in the morning and like setting yourself up like, all right, I'm gonna scroll 15 minutes through my feed. Oh, what? This guy's already made like a beat this morning? How is that even possible? Or this guy's already hiked to this trail, and I'm just like, can you fucking make my bed?
Oh my god.
But in that like time that I was realizing that, I feel like there is a lot of self-doubt, and being a creative person in general, you're always judging your own stuff, being judged, and I guess judging other people's stuff, whether you know it or not. But how do you guys deal with self-doubt, whether you're creating music and you're like, I think this is good, but maybe it's not good, and then other people have input on that as well. And in terms of making photos and video, it's the exact same thing of just, you think it's good and you think you have something that's special, and then maybe it doesn't get received the way that you think it will.
Yeah. What do you say?
For me, it's I kind of like brushed up on it earlier, is that, you know, I get stuck in myself where like I'm disappointed in some of the work that I put out. And I found the only way I can combat that is to stop being precious with what I put out. You know, like sure, like I'll put out some subpar content, but at least I'm still keeping the juices flowing and keeping things going. You can't just stop. The moment that you stop, you lose that drive and that edge. And that edge and that drive is the only things that are keep you going as a creative. You can't
stress.
Yeah, you just can't
just
can't
put
stress
it out.
You got to keep putting things out because you need to keep creating, and that's the only way you're going to keep learning about your style and trying to create your own authorship, right? Like that.
I feel also like bouncing off your point, I feel like when you are too precious with what you do, then if it doesn't get generated the way you want it, then you get more upset about it.
Yeah, it's discouraging.
Yeah, so then that's what makes you not. So if you're doing something, like create the idea and like don't think about it too much. Like it's literally like a creative project, and you can make another creative project, and like it's based on like who you actually are. It's not based on what you made, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're still creating all the time. You're creating different things. Like if I'm not doing music, I'm doing like a graphic or I'm doing something else. So like there's always ways where you can still stay creative, but like just don't be too precious with it, unless it's like your big masterpiece. Then be precious.
At what point is okay to be attached to your work, and what is overly attached?
Yeah.
Like where do you draw that line?
It's hard to also be attached to your work because then it's just like you get like a point. I feel like when I find something that I really like, I play it and I play it and I play it and I play it to the point where I don't even like it anymore. So I'm just like nobody else is gonna like this now. Like it's hard. I don't know. Like there's a hard thin line for like yourself to just not. I don't know. Like when you really like something, you just, how many times have you watched your video if you really liked it?
Oh yeah.
And it just comes to a point where you're just like, oh my god. I
Then
know
you
when
don't
everything's
like it.
happening. Like Thoughts About Travel, I watched that 1,000 times.
But that's
Easily.
the thing though, that like what really matters is, yes, like it's a numbers game. You want people to see your work. Yes, like you create for yourself, but there is a silver lining where like you are creating for other people. You want people to see this content. You want it to fall into the right set of hands, and you want good feedback for you to keep moving on. But there is a point where like you can be obsessive of what you're creating because there's so much passion and there's so much interest into what you're creating yourself, you know? Like you want to always create good content. So like there are times where like I'm proud of something and I put it out there and it'll get like, I don't know, like 100 views, whatever. That's not a lot, but like I will be fucking 30 of those views, you know, because like I enjoyed it, you know, like I made this for myself. And then when I watch those, I'm like, this was literally like 3 hours of shooting. Why can't I take another 3 hours tomorrow, shoot that, and then edit it for a couple hours and then put it out again? And I don't know what it is in between that makes me stop and think like, oh, I don't have the time for that. But you do. You honestly do. But
yeah, like you just created something. Like you
time.
literally have time.
You just got to make time. And like it's, you know, like I've been working at a bar now for almost 2 years at the same bar. And I was working, if it wasn't 5 days a week, it was like 17 days in a row. I'm not even kidding you. Just the way like schedules will line up or me picking up shifts. And at that time, I didn't have enough time, but I was still creating small things as much as I can. But now I'm at the point where I'm about to quit my full-time job so I can just keep creating. And then when that happens, I have zero excuse. I literally have no excuse but to like pick up my camera, go shoot something, come back, go edit that shit, put it out there, see where it goes.
And it doesn't have to be anything more than that. Like you don't have to think like I need to make money at this time. I need like just keep creating, keep doing new content, and like the followers will come, the people will come.
If you create it, they will come.
They will come. They will, honestly.
Consistent, man.
It is. At the end of the day, like I'll make 4 things. I'll wake up the next morning and be like, I have nothing to post today. Like just like that. and then you post your stuff and you're just like, now I need new content. So like it's just like we live in a world where like it's just every single day there should be new content if you're creating content.
Which is, it's crazy how much content is consumed and that people expect from you. But I guess like you guys hit it in the terms of like, doesn't matter where you set your bar, but don't stop creating.
No.
Yeah, don't put the bar down. Don't lower it. Like, don't ever lower your own standards or what you want to create. Like, yes, you could take breaks and you can like not go as hard, but you can't put that bar down. You got to keep that up there and make sure that you're going above it and still posting and still creating stuff, you know, and even if it's small.
If something that you're actually really passionate about is on the back burner, like you're still always creating something. No matter what, you're creating something. Even
like when we take photos for the restaurant that we manage and work at, like I don't really like taking pictures of food. Honestly, I don't really like making cheesy promotional videos, but like at least like
that's a form of creating.
I have my camera in my hand and I'm getting paid for it. Like that's all the power, man. I love that. I've
kind of like learned to like it now. Like at first it was different, but like now I'm just like, it's not bad. Like you get excited about like staging different things and stuff like that, but like obviously there's more to it. Like if people ask me, like there's more to what you do. Like you're not just a food photographer or so. Like there's more to what we do. Sure. There's more to like what you do outside of that as well. So
I think I've definitely learned in the same way, because I cut corporate videos all the time, and it is grueling at some points because it's just a people talking head or something. But
it's not really authentic because it's not your work.
But I'm starting to learn how to take joy in the little things of being like, oh, I get to create like a cool graphic or something. And you just learn, like, I'm so grateful that I get to do this. I'll learn to enjoy this because I already enjoy like editing. It doesn't matter what I'm editing. Yeah. So.
And like that editing will go towards something in the future. Like if you have a video, like you're like, oh, I know how to do this because I did it on this video. So
exactly. It's
like
always,
you're always learning. You're always editing. You're always.
The learning part of that is just like such a crazy thing that I never thought that it would come to. Do you guys have any advice for people that are creating and putting out but are feeling doubt about the products that they're putting on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever it may be? What would you say to people other than don't stop? What if they can't start?
Well, first you got to accept that there is always going to be doubt. Doubt will never disappear. Even like the greatest of the greats, they doubt themselves time to time. We're like, no, this shot's not going to work. I need to change it up. Or like this beat doesn't work. I don't like this drum kit for the song. You know, like doubt is always going to be inevitable. It's what's going to make you great and what's going to make you strong as a creative is how you can build yourself out of it. And that is something that you will learn on yourself. Yes, we all have our own different tactics, you know, either keep creating or write more, listen to more music, I don't know, smoke a joint or something. It doesn't matter.
Heyo.
But what it is that how you get out of that, that's what's going to make you grow as a creative. That's what's going to make you better and differentiate you from the other schmo that's stuck in this track and can't get out of it, you know. And at the same time, mental health is a massive thing, and I'm not by any means trying to underplay that, but you know, you need to get yourself out of that to keep growing. You can't just you can't succumb to your self-doubt and succumb to your insecurities of what anyone else is going to think. You know, this is your content. You put it out for a reason. You believed in it that much for you to publicate it to potentially thousands of different pairs of eyes, right?
I think, like, obviously going off of that too, like, in a way, like, obviously you can't doubt yourself, but like there should be some sort of doubt when you're making something, because then I feel like you become like numb to actually learning more and creating more. So if you're not having that self-doubt, you're not actually like, you're done. I feel like the minute you're just like, I'm awesome, I created the best thing ever, like I can't do more than this, it means like you're done. Like you lost interest in it. You're not into it. So you have to be able to obviously keep putting out content, but also having that doubt to get a bit better or try to learn a bit more, because like the minute you're just like, I'm done, like I'm the best I can be, like that's when you're done. Like
you might as well put it down.
Yeah.
My
like,
dad used to
lost
say
the passion.
Every time that like I would write a test and I would say I'm nervous, he would always say like, son, you're only nervous because you care. And I think about that all the time when I'm creating too. I'm just like, I don't know if this is going to work. And that's only because I care about it so much. And if you lose that care and like you lose that sense of doubt, like you were saying, like you plateau creatively.
Yeah, because you just like toss anything. You're like, now I don't really care. And that's when emotion gets away, and like now it's not for yourself anymore.
Like we watch them all the time. Mango Street Lab, there's a couple on YouTube that make, you know, anywhere between photo and video tutorials. But one thing that I like they do is that they do these photo challenges for themselves where they give themselves limitations of the type of photos they need to shoot. For example, they'll be like, you have to take a low angle shot. You have to shoot while while squatting and one leg lunged back and then see how it goes. Or you need to buy a bunch of objects from the dollar store and see how you can integrate them into photos. Like that, those little challenges, those are what's gonna keep shit interesting for yourself too, you know? Like it's
that is a good point. Like sometimes when it is hard to create, because I've definitely been there and I'm probably frequently there, I always forget to like kind of exercise that limitation basically of putting like, okay, I'm gonna only shoot something for Instagram stories, and then it makes it hard because you can't turn the camera the other way. Or I'm only gonna create something with X, and it kind of makes it more fun than just being like, well, I haven't created anything in a while. What keeps you guys at bay when you are feeling doubt, or if you just are looking for an escape or relax, maybe meditation in some form? What's your go-to place, go-to spot in your mind? Maybe music.
I would say music for sure. I'd say just listening to other types of music. Like, I don't make rap music, but rap music is like one of my biggest, like, I guess, inspirations with anything. So like I listen to music, and like I feel like at those times when you're sitting and you're listening to music, those are the times when I come up with ideas because I'm not actually trying to think of an idea.
In what form are you listening to music?
What do you mean?
Like, are you just kind of secluded, sitting down, headphones on?
Sometimes I'll do like my headphones and I'll sit, but sometimes like I'll have my record player. Like I have like Jay-Z on vinyl. I have like I have
sick.
Mos Def. I have like I have a Drake album. I have Kanye West. I have all these like
you
like
listen to a lot of old school stuff too.
Yeah, like I have like Stevie Wonder. I have Marvin Gaye. Like I have all these albums where I'll just like sit, listen, and like get other ideas from other things.
So that's your like headspace that you go into.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, observe other people's music because music's been around forever. So like listening to other things and like trying to find a way to bring old music back to, I guess, us, like 2018. Like bring it to us. I don't know how to do it, but like
2018 goal right there.
Yeah, maybe 2019 will happen, but I don't know. Yeah, that's what I would say.
What about you?
I'm more of like a place kind of, like I'm very spatially aware person, and I equate a lot of places in my life with certain emotions that I've had or experiences in the past that have really built basically who I was. I built the foundation of who I was. So for example, like in Pickering, like when we went back to Pickering a couple of days ago with our friends from Toronto, and we wanted to share them like a little slice of us, like how we grew up. So we took them to the Dixie Cliffs, that obviously is massively popular in Pickering, but no one else outside of Pickering know about the cliffs, right?
Like, do we know that though? Do we
But
know
like,
that?
Is there a name? Someone should make a sign there. I think you just made this up. Dixie Cliffs.
People don't think it's real, but when you're there,
it's not on Google. So.
Yeah, like basically Dixie Cliffs is like this big old truss bridge of a train track that goes across this massive valley, and then a cliff that drops off to probably like 60 to 80 feet. It's massive and it's beautiful. And to me, that was like the foundation of my teenagehood. So like going back to Pickering and visiting Dixie Cliff, definitely something keeps me at bay. Also, this coffee shop that's down the street from me called Sovereign. Shout out to Sovereign in Davenport.
Hey.
Dufferin.
That's a good spot.
That place.
Greatest breakfast sandwiches ever.
Yeah, greatest breakfast sandwiches. That
Ross,
place for me, yeah, Ross is the man. For me, that place was like, now when I drink coffee is not just a stimulant for me. For me, coffee brings me to that specific shop. And I have this emotional connection to coffee now because like anytime that I was down or I was having,
I'm the same way as well.
Right? Yeah,
coffee just like is like the start of being a creative or doing something. Like you just sit, have your coffee, and like that's like from this time to there, like that's when you're thinking of stuff and like you haven't actually started.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's like, all right, okay, and then your coffee's done. You're like, let's do this.
Yeah, let's get down to it. Let's groove with it. So yeah, and then if I need to, like, if I am stuck inside and I need to get myself a nice spot, I think of the mountains, man. Out west is, I honestly encourage everyone to just at least witness the mountains up close, because there is something so intimidating yet liberating when you or either see the mountains or you're in the mountains and you're breathing that fresh air. And it's just, to me, I've had some of the best days of my life where I can literally, like, there's been times in my life where I had a day and I'll be like, whoa, this is the best moment of my entire fucking life. Like, I was at Kitsilano Beach last time I was in Vancouver, and the sun was setting, sky was fucking purple. Instead of the backdrop being skyscrapers like I'm used to in Toronto, it was fucking mountains, and it was at the beach, and it was warm, and it was just insane. And the only thing I could say was like, whoa, like, this is the most perfect fucking day. So I think about those times that I've spent throughout the world or anywhere that I've experienced time with my close friends or family or girlfriend, whatnot. I go to those moments for me to keep myself at bay, like you said, and kind of remind myself that, like, there's more to life than me stressing out all the time and having to think I got to grind just for me to make a name for myself. It's a life of balance. If I can live a life of balance, then I will forever be happy.
For sure. I think that's
the key, honestly. Like,
balance,
when
right?
one thing outweighs the other, then that's when you start getting frustrated. That's when things go wrong. Like,
you got to pull back.
you got it. You can't be strung up on one thing. You have to have that balance between friends, like work, being creative, like family, like whatever you need to do. Like, you need some sort of balance, whatever that may be.
I feel like it's really hard also to find, like, you're leaning to one side, but it's really hard to find the balance.
No, it's impossible.
Because you never know when it's going to crack to the other side.
Or you have times where, like, you get too hung up on one thing and then you realize that the balance is off. You're just like, oh,
Like, how long have I been here?
wow. Just woke up.
What was your favorite part about living in a small town in comparison to a big city?
I think just like how convenient it was, just like call up a buddy and like you just walk over. Like,
That was the best.
I had like at least 10 buddies where I'm just like 5 of them don't want to hang out, like the other 5 would be down to hang out. So like just having just everybody there that you grew up with, just literally like a walk away.
Sure,
like
you
10
can't
minutes
beat
away.
that. You can't beat that.
No.
Yeah, I miss saying
All of
hi
us
to
were in
everyone.
one area at one point.
Like when you're in Toronto, it's like
Way more faces.
millions of faces. You're seeing people all the time, and it's just like, keep your head down, keep your own business.
Yeah.
Run some crazy people. But like in Pickering, you're literally walking by, and you're like,
hello.
hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Oh,
I'm
have a
the
good
nicest
day.
person in my life.
See you later. Yeah, and you
Just
go
feel
on.
like I gotta say hello.
I like that. I don't know what it is. It makes you feel good. You know, I'm just saying hi. I hope if more people would just be like, walk by and be like, hey, how you doing? You know? I mean, not everyone.
What's
like,
wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Look at this asshole.
Okay, flip side then. What's the best thing about Toronto in comparison?
Food.
Food?
Food
yeah,
is up
definitely
there
food.
for sure.
Coffee?
Coffee. I became a coffee snob when I moved to Toronto. I'm a loser now.
Yeah, fun fact, I never even drank coffee until I moved in with Nolan.
Oh.
And then we walked into the Sovereign, and Ross was like, "Yeah, you should try this." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah. I was
I
like,
love coffee.
so you guys want Americano? I'm like, Mara who?
Yeah, I thought it was just
you got me
coffee.
Americano. I was so intimidated. I was like, I have no idea what this is.
But you're instantly hooked.
Oh, it's amazing.
You can't like
Espresso and hot water. What's fucking
the
wrong
smell
with
always intrigued me, but it was like when you're a kid and you drink wine or something, you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
It smells okay, but it tastes really fucking weird.
Yeah, it tastes a little weird.
Yeah. Well, it was dessert for me when I first started drinking coffee. Right, it was like 2 creams,
yeah.
2 sugars.
Yeah.
Sometimes that wasn't
Yeah, I
enough.
gained
Fucking
like
another
30
throw in
pounds because I just put double doubles all day.
Yeah, no.
It's like, holy moly, man.
But Tim
But now
Hortons.
it's black. I can't do anything black.
No, I
Don't even bother thinking about putting milk in my coffee, please. Unless it's like a cappuccino or whatever that shit. But yeah, besides that, the craft beer. I love craft beer. Now.
Craft beer,
yeah. And then, but on an emotional level, like on a more deep, I mean, I love Toronto for the opportunities it's given me. It's enabled me a lot to learn more about myself, because it's such a big city, and like people always say there's so many opportunities out there and this is the place to be, but like what they don't tell you is that like it is so overwhelming of how large the city is, how many people there are, and how many opportunities
Seriously.
there actually are.
I sometimes
'Cause-
forget how big. Like, I'll go in like the central part of the city, and I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people around here.
Mhm.
Like,
Be
I'm
social
such a
anxiety.
tiny human
Yeah,
being.
I'm just like, wow, nobody knows me here. I'm just
But the
chilling.
cool part is that like one of those 1,000 people, like you'll never see the same people again, and there's a chance that when you meet a one person, they're gonna have a massive impact in your life. One of the millions of people that we're surrounded by all the time.
Yeah, like there's people that I've met that like have become like very close friends or like very close to me in like such a short amount of time, which is weird. It's just weird to think about. You don't like 2 years, 3 years ago, I had no idea who these people are, and now like
Exactly.
they're a big part of my life. So it's crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Canadians are known for being pretty friendly, but Toronto in its own
Travis
is...
has got a little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
for sure.
there's.
How do you think moving to Toronto from a small city that was so friendly to say, hey, what's up on the street, to like, hey, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door into the industry? What was kind of the reception you guys are getting?
Well, I think Toronto, it was only as of late that like started having an identity, and like honestly because of our sports team, because of Dre, because of the hip hop culture that's growing up in here,
Facts.
and all the creativity, and like now that it's so, our Canadian dollar is so cheap compared to the American one, that a lot of movies are filmed now in Toronto. Like obviously it has a setting, but before Toronto was always the city that wanted to be an American city, you know. So it does have
It is
that
very
chip.
prideful.
Yeah, so much pride, and like it's awesome. Like I love saying like I'm a Torontonian, and like Toronto's an awesome place, but like there's definitely this anywhere I travel, they're like, oh, you're from Toronto. Oh, jeez.
It's
Like,
just like
you really think higher of yourself. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Nah, Toronto's just
it's
cool,
just like a
man.
buzz in the city. Like I
Yeah,
feel like
buzz,
even when I moved to Toronto, it was just like Toronto music is getting huge now too. So it's exciting to be like I could be the person that gets a break here if I do something that sounds, you know what I mean, like according to like the Toronto sound and stuff like that. So it's cool, just like I don't know.
I feel in every aspect almost like every single scene is growing in some way.
It's an exciting time to be living in Toronto right now. Ooh, definitely on the come up.
What's the mode of transportation down there in the city? TGC? TGC or bike?
Yeah, once upon a
It's
time it was
it's
TGC.
the orange and green
The orange
bus
and green
for
bus, you know?
Christopher. Orange and
Cat
green bus is
running,
actually
Ubers.
Beck Taxi.
Like taxi, the Ubers, the Lyfts, whatever.
You want to give them a plug real quick?
Right?
You know the number off by heart? You don't take Uber out here? Uber pool everywhere?
No. I do a little something, a little everything. Sometimes it's Lyft, sometimes it's Uber.
Yeah, I'm a bike guy. I bike everywhere. I do have a car now, and I get to, if I need to go distances or carry my camera gear around, I'll drive there. But mainly bike. I try
Like
and
walking in the city though, like just
Walking,
like just
yeah.
strolling around. Like yesterday, I was just walking around the city and just like, it's just good to do that sometimes. Like be like a tourist and look at the big buildings and stuff like that.
Even that can be kind of relaxing in a way of just zone out and be like, I'm here in this place right now.
Honestly, like I appreciate the architecture in Toronto so much. Like sometimes I sit there and I'm just mesmerized by like different, like if I go on a different street, like you find something different every time, which is crazy. Like the old like houses and stuff.
I did food delivery for a while, and the amount of places that I didn't know about turning onto like some random side street that I had to go drop off food, I was like, I had no idea that this was here. What the
Even
heck?
your guys' old place was like beautiful. Like I loved that street.
Oh,
That was, like,
down on
so
the
nice.
Danforth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Danforth or Regal Road.
both of them.
Our old
our
place
old-
or
I liked your
my?
old place.
yeah, our
I liked
old-
your old place as well, though. I liked how it was on Danforth. But I did.
Both were really quiet. Both streets were like so calm, and then you would just stroll into the city.
Yeah, I just have memories like even before I lived in Toronto, like going to your guys' first place, just chilling there in the little basement.
Yeah.
Making
Going to that
thoughts by
shitty
travel.
billiards bar that ended up closing down after.
Yeah.
That was a good time there.
So what would you say to people that either one, looking to make that jump into the big city, or two, trying to like just pursue their passion and like make meaningful content?
Honestly, you just gotta go for it. Don't overthink it. If you overthink it, I was overthinking it, and I was like, oh, what if I don't have enough money? What if I don't do this? Like, once you get here, you'll find a job. Like, you'll figure it out. Like, it's takes a couple of months of struggling to actually get somewhere in your life, or like get to the next point.
I
So,
feel like you have to struggle to be able to not struggle,
yeah,
because
to
if you don't know how it
appreciate what you have.
feels,
Yeah, exactly.
then you can't.
If you struggle, then you get better with money. You get better with like, I guess like just your time. Like you know how to space out your time. You know exactly
to make
what
sure
need to
you
do.
don't get back to that place.
Yeah, you definitely tighten up a bit.
And it always stays with you in the back of your mind. You're just like, ugh. You still have that mentality, even like if you have money, you're just like,
Yeah. Well, it's like that. Like if you make a mistake once, you're probably not gonna make that same mistake
I'm not
again.
gonna do it again.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely been there. Yo, you always find work in Toronto. That's the thing. Like, even if you gotta take a bar job, you gotta take a fucking any dishwasher job. Like, there is so much
There's so many
employment out there.
creatives
That
though that are
Yeah.
doing stuff like that where like it doesn't stop you from doing what you actually want to do.
Oh yeah,
you just gotta.
sure.
It's funds. You know, you gotta fund your ambitions. You gotta fund your future endeavors, and that's all it is, man. I got the job at Craft as a busboy because like I just needed money. I needed to eat, you know, but it enabled me to live where I'm at right now. We live in a nice townhouse. I got a car. I can go traveling now. I'm at a point now where I can quit and, well, I'm not comfortably quit, but like I could quit and, you know, pretend that I'm going to be okay, and I will be okay. I just like, you just kind of got to
It's the same idea though that I just said, like you just got to go for it.
take a leap. Yeah.
You're nervous because it's not comfortable anymore and it's not the norm, but like you might find a new comfortability and like a new norm. You know what I mean? You might find something different.
Okay, last question here, and we'll wrap up. What's one thing that people are sleeping on right now? Either like a restaurant, a coffee place, an album, a street, a photo, anything. What's one thing people are sleeping on right now?
That's a hard one.
A book, a movie.
Yo, people are sleeping on the north side of Toronto. Everyone who moves into Toronto, they keep on thinking like, oh, I gotta live in the city. I gotta live on Blue Jays Way. I gotta live in Liberty Village.
Dude,
And like,
no, fuck
no
that.
way,
Yeah,
man.
they get, like,
Fuck that.
sardined
People
in
are
these
sleeping
cool
on the
trendy
northern
places.
side of Toronto, man. Like we live up at, you know, the north. We live in what's it?
Junction.
Junction area, yeah. Still on the come up, but like we have a large home and we pay a fraction of what people pay there, and there's a lot of culture there. Instead of like people who like move to Blue Jays Way and all that places,
Money in, money out.
it's money in, money out, and you don't get the culture where we are. Man, we see so many different types of people, different types of restaurants. You're surrounded by a bunch of breweries. The places
just
that,
like a community and like an independent feel, like where we're at.
Yeah,
it doesn't
absolutely.
feel like the big city. But even still, like you're just another number in the big city, like or like in I guess like the big areas of Toronto, like where like the busy traffic areas, the entertainment.
If you
areas
do
and
live
stuff.
there.
You know what I mean? Like you're just like you're just another person that's in that area. If you're like a bit, I don't know, like where we are, like there's communities, there's families that are raising their kids there and stuff like that. So like you see that other side of Toronto.
Like growing up skateboarding down there, yeah. Going into the middle of the city, there's no culture
It's
there.
hectic.
It's because it's one, tourist, two, people working. You got to go to where people are living and where those people are eating and stuff like that. So, do you have anything to add to that? Or are you going to go with location?
Location,
I'll
for
go with
sure.
location, yeah.
People are sleeping on north side?
North
I
side.
think just like in general, not even just like the north side. I think just like anything out of that little King Street, Queen Street bubble. People are
Like, do your own thing.
I mean,
like they
make
see
moves.
one thing and they're just like the amount of times I've seen, you know, those with that wall with the wings.
yeah.
You remember pictures I've seen
on
like that?
King,
It's just like,
King
come on.
Savannah.
Have you seen that? It's like this, like I don't even know what it
It's
is.
like a nightclub or something.
No, it's like
it's a
someone like
Cali Love. It's from like just like one of those like boho restaurant, like boho chic bowl.
but there's like
restaurants.
somebody painted like wings and like the amount of like so it's a wings and like there's like a space in the middle.
Oh,
like,
so
girls
every
can,
single
like,
girl
Insta
can
pics,
just
it's
stand.
like-
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
oh, the amount of times I see that is just like, come on, there's so much in the city.
Yeah, and for the record, Warehouse and the Dime and whatnot, those aren't the only cool places in Toronto.
Worst trend in Toronto or worst trend on Instagram right now?
What's up with beanies not being actually on your head top?
I just thought, remember the other day we saw someone wearing an IKEA bag?
Oh yeah, IKEA stuff. What's up with that?
People are taking IKEA bags and making like ponchos out of them.
That's still.
That's fucked up. Were they wearing it in the rain? Was this person...
It was
Yeah,
so-
it
Sold.
was sunny. They had, I think they had a winter hat on and an IKEA bag, and then like I don't know if they had pants on.
Plus 40?
No,
Oh no, this was the other
Like
day.
a millennial?
like
Oh.
they're like probably 1920, probably I'd say.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't accept that.
I'm just like, oh, it makes me feel old when I see those things. I'm like, kids these days. I'm just like, I'm not that old.
Yeah, I'm also over just like Evermans who wears like a pair of Vans, like the old school Vans, and they think they're fashion icons. You know, just like
That and Thrasher.
yeah, and Thrash. Yeah, people stop wearing Thrasher if you don't skate, please.
Grinding my gears.
Yeah, grind my gears.
All right, guys. Well, I think that was pretty decent. I hope somebody got some value out of that conversation. Thank you guys for coming down here.
Again, it's up here. You live so far away from the city. Stop
Down
pretending.
I know,
here.
but
It's
like
up there.
it just feels I don't know. So where can people find you?
Nolan Begley on Instagram. Find me there. Follow us by Lake Visuals if you need your digital media marketing, shots for restaurants,
Plug.
clothing wear. Just putting a plug in there.
At Sovereign.
You can follow me, Project Leon.
Project-
Vicus.
Yeah, Project Leon. Hell yeah, you guys make some clothing too. You guys gotta. This is right here. This is Project. This is
Vicus.
We're at
Follow those
Get
boys. Follow those boys.
10% off with the coupon code
Shameless
podcast.
promotion. Oh, that's a good one. Podcast. Yeah, that Project Leon's do the same thing.
Yeah.
10%. Come on.
Yeah. You can also catch us out on our stuff too. For this journey media, man. Vimeo.com/FJmedia. Some of this guy's Chris has scored a couple of our videos too, so you can definitely see some collaborative
Acted
projects
too.
from
Come
all
on,
of us, and
Don't cut me short,
expect more to come, man. There's some
I'm the
more stuff
superstar.
coming.
I'm
We
the
cooking.
superstar of this.
We cooking.
Right on.
All right. Thanks for having us, man.
Respect. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. There will be more coming soon, and hopefully with a name.